Dude, I remember I was dyeing my beard black, and I was still getting some nipples.
You were hitting the Just for Men?
Yeah, man, I was doing that shit. But part of the reason was the line would be so tight.
Yeah.
I mean, that bitch be crisp.
It's crispy.
Ooh, it'd be crisp.
Walking Blind is hosted by overly emotional dudes who overthink and overanalyze everything. Nothing the hosts say should be taken as medical advice or opinion. They're not professionals. They're about to make that very clear.
All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Walking Blind Podcast. This is episode 91 of the show where we like to normalize checking in on the homies. Almost didn't make it through that. I'm Mike. The other Mike is he's still not here. He's still not here. But that being said, we brought in another special guest this week. Ladies and gentlemen, my brother himself, Mr. Bryan Bowens. Golf clap. Nice little applause. We're sitting here sipping. We're sitting here reliving the eventful past couple days, past day or so of you being back in LA. Yep. And before we jump into like our mental health check and all this stuff, we got to tell Jesse this story about what happened at Guitar Center. So you hop off the plane. You were coming back from the Philippines.
Yeah.
And kind of now as tradition, like what we do is you fly to the Philippines, you fly in, spend a couple days here, kick it, and then you head back out to Atlanta.
We'll do some shopping when I get in.
Yeah, we'll go sneaker shopping. We successfully all bought a pair of shoes in LA. You bought a beautiful bass, 5-string Music Man.
Yep.
And that was your first time going to the Sunset Guitar Center, yeah. Right? So for those of you guys that don't know, Hollywood Guitar Center off Sunset has a vintage room where basically there's like these high-end guitars, like classic, vintage guitars, things like that. And we walk in there, mind you, there's only a couple people in the vintage room at that time. We're kind of, perusing the gear, and I went in there with full resolve that I was not going to buy anything. That was not going to stop me from convincing you to buy something because somebody had to do it, right?
Horrible influence.
So, me and Andrew are off to one side, and I look and I see this dude who's looking at the vintage acoustics. Mm-hmm. I'm like, man, that guy looks familiar. I couldn't place where I knew him from though.
Yeah.
So I'm like, on one side browsing, and I look over, and you walk up to this guy, and you're like, hey man, can you help me get this Music Man off the shelf?
Yeah, it was at the very. You had to use a ladder.
Yeah.
To go get it.
Yeah, use the ladder, get up to the top and pull this bass down, right? So you're like, hey, can you help me? And he's like, oh, sorry, mate, I don't work here, right? Mm-hmm. And as soon as that accent clicked, I was like, oh shit, that's a Scottish accent. Oh shit, that's Louis Capaldi. But he was so cool about it. Like,
he was really nice.
Brian didn't know who he was.
Look, man, my fault, my bad. We kind of hugged.
He was little like hug.
Yeah,
like,
man, he was real cool about it. I was like, hey, listen.
And so like when it clicked to it was like he was like, I don't work here. Brian's like, oh my bad, I'm sorry. So they gave each other a little hug, and he was really nice.
He was. So, man, shout out to you, man. You handled that better than I think a lot of other people would have. So yeah. I appreciate it. You got a new fan in me now. How about that? I know who you are now, for sure.
It's awesome because it makes me happy to think that somebody who has like, if you look at his Spotify, those two songs have like billions, literally billions of plays, and this dude's still like, he's t-shirt, shorts, skate shoes, like he just
looked like a regular guy.
Yeah,
just chilling.
He asked for the dudes to pull down like this Gibson. I don't want to put his business out there, but pulled out this vintage Gibson from like 1940 or 58 or something like that. So we'll just say that the guy that was working the vintage room within an hour made commission off of a cool like what $13,000 between you and Lewis.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just funny because Bryan had no idea who he was, and I was like, this Lewis Capaldi, and Andrew's like, who's that? And so then I pulled it up, and then he's like, oh, I know this song. And Bryan's like, Bryan just takes my phone, puts it on the amp, and just starts playing bass lines along with it. There are these other two dudes in there, like
that was my sorry.
Yeah. from somewhere else, like I don't know where they were from it sounded like they were from like UK or somewhere like that, and they were like, that's Lewis Capaldi, like what the fuck, we just ran into him here. And I was like, yeah, and I'm showing them his music, and here's Bryan just with the cell phone playing like Someone You Love, playing the bass line up. So it was definitely interesting. It was funny. So Hollywood was eventful.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
It was a nice little trip.
And my deepest apologies again. But you gained a fan from that.
Yeah, that was rad.
Yeah, you gained a fan from that for sure.
Yeah, so that being said, let's jump into our mental health check. I know Mike's got some mental health check videos that he sent in for this week.
Okay.
So we'll throw them in right here. But
so guys, mental health check is where we like to check in weekly to see where we're at. That way, if we're going right, what are some things that are helping us, and if we're in a funk, maybe what's keeping us in that funk. So I'm here with 3 of the 5 members of No Bragging Rights, and I'll just let you guys introduce yourselves, and then we'll check in where you're at for the week.
All right. I'm good. Normal tour exhaustion.
Yep.
Especially this week. A lot of early rises. But I live for it.
Yep.
And I like having this group of us every day makes it way easier.
Yeah.
Because I think we do a pretty good job of taking care of each other. So I'm good. I got no complaints. Happy to be here.
Good. And then just a quick question. So if you ever feel like you're having, you get bad news or you're not feeling good, what are some like quick pick-me-ups that you have for yourself?
I call my mom.
Nice.
Or I call my girlfriend. I do, I think, a pretty good job at compartmentalizing when I need to. But calling people that I love and I care about, or people that I trust. I don't like, everybody feels like a burden often. Especially when you feel like you need to talk about something, and it's hard to go to your buddy. But as I've gotten older, it's been easier to do that because I have friends around me that remind me that I'm not. So that's great.
Hell yeah. Dude, sick. Boom.
What's the question?
First off, can you introduce yourself?
Okay. Hi. My name is Anthony. Everyone calls me Tron. What's the next question?
So, where's your mental health for this week, or even since tour started?
I'm exhausted. I'm happy though. I'm a little homesick. Miss my wife a lot. Miss my animals. Miss my family. Hit like a low point. Not for any right or wrong reason. Just where my brain was. Feeling good again. Just tired.
I remember we kind of talked about that low point. Was there anything that you do that kind of gets you through it, or is it something you kind of just sit through and?
It's just something I've dealt with my whole life, and I just know when I get there it'll pass. Talking about it is helpful. Just being communicative, especially with people in my camp. Just like, this is what's going on right now. It has nothing to do with anybody. I feel like people always take it personal when someone's sad or when someone's feeling low. But just communicating that has nothing to do with them. And just moving forward. There's always a job to do, so that's kind of like, I feel like if I can get my job done for the day, then I don't ever feel like a total low point. I don't feel like I'm at a total low point because I did my job and I did what I was here for. Yeah, just being communicative, calling my wife, calling my family, calling my mom, talking to my friends, and just kind of explaining where I'm at. Instead of hiding it, and then people, feel like, oh, is he mad at me or something? It's just, that has nothing to do with you. Just kind of what's going on right now. And then it passes, and then it just goes away. Mostly goes away by being active and just, like I said, having a job to do and getting that job done, feeling that serotonin hit from completion,
Yeah. Sick.
Yeah.
Hi,
Sean, and feeling pretty good. My wife was lucky enough to be on the tour doing photo and merch, so she left a couple days, so that kind of sucked. Getting used to her not being here has been a little tough, but we just played a sick fucking show, so that helped. Also hurt a little. She wasn't here. So, that was a little hard, but it was fucking sick. It's amazing to be with the people we're on tour with and be with this group of dudes. So I'm thankful to be out here and hanging and playing with everyone. So it's kind of the same as these guys. It's like if there's any kind of low, it's just I always have my wife to go to. You know, and it's easy being on the road with you guys, so that helps too. Awesome. Everyone's dope. I don't know.
It is. We're very easy. All right, so what are you rocking that we can add to our playlist?
Love by Keisha Cole.
Ooh.
It's a classic. It's a banger. I've been listening to it nonstop.
All right.
I figured out my favorite vocal warm-up song, and that's "Angels Like You" by Miley Cyrus.
Yo, fuck yeah.
Which I still haven't learned.
And I've been trying to get Mike to learn it, so we can warm up vocally to that song.
Okay, I'm gonna learn it.
And then the New With Honor record's awesome.
Yeah.
Just jam that. I listened to the singles a bunch of times, and then it just came out 2 days ago, and we listened to it front to back. It's awesome. It's like everything I love about punk and hardcore, and like melodic hardcore. It's like fast as hell.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's a good record. The second latest Spirit Box single, The Void, it's kind of Tron's fault. He was posting about it and then jamming it when I flew to Tacoma. And I listened to it like 5 times this morning. I was like, it's such a good song. It's so catchy.
The Void for sure. I've listened to that like I seriously probably listened to that song like 50 times. I'm a big Josh Gilbert fan, and I can hear his vocals in it now, and I'm like, all right, this band was already like top tier, god tier band, and now they're like next level.
I saw a live video of them too, and I was like, dude, fuck yes.
I saw them at the Lamb of God tour, and he was playing with them, but he sings with them like on all the old songs. But hearing it on record, it's like they do like he like sings a different harmony in each chorus of that song, The Void. And it's like
Sick. All right, boys. Well, thank you for your mental health check and your song recommendations. Those are a beautiful van. I won't.
You know, how you doing?
Hey man, I'm living life. Everything is good for the most part. No complaints. Got engaged, so looking forward to that. Kids are doing good. Trying to get more parenting time with them, so working on all of that. But outside of that, everything's going really good, man.
That's good, man.
Everything's going good. What about yourself?
I'm good. This weekend has been a nice kind of little break. Just got to chill a little bit and hang out with you. Got the little guilty pleasure sneaker shopping in. Yeah. We have this new, actually just started this weekend, this new Walking Blind group on Instagram that just has a bunch of you guys. Shout out to you guys that have joined that group chat and like have a bunch of people like talking, conversating and stuff like that. I'll be honest, I'm really, really bad at checking Instagram. So like I'll disappear and I'll come back and I have like 48 messages to go through. Right. So if I'm not responding directly to anybody, that's why. But it's kind of cool to see that, that community come together. And so, yeah, it's been a like pretty chill little weekend. Today was a big day. Elliot started daycare today. Yeah. So, this morning, Karima was like, he was kicking and screaming and he didn't want to stay. And I was like, I told you, like, this is his first day,
Right.
And then like a few hours later in the afternoon, you and I went to Tuxie's to get lunch and we're headed back. And the daycare has an app where you can kind of check in on him and see how he's doing. And they put this picture of him in the playground area, just riding the big wheel like it was a Harley, like riding around. And I was like, yeah, that's sick. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that things are going to just start kind of falling into place and that we'll kind of, now that the daycare situation has been like solved and situated, we can kind of move forward with a bunch of other stuff too. So it'd be nice. Yeah. But yeah, man. So I want to talk about this engagement.
Well, what you want to know? What you want to know about it, man?
So I think did we talk in the last episode about how you guys met and how you we didn't because I know that you met through like a mutual friend, right?
Yeah.
So
Say that.
it wasn't like was this like an online dating thing, or was this like just
so yeah, we have a friend that actually she was referred to the dating site too, and I was as well. And it just so happened that everything just kind of worked out. And we start talking and all of that. But though I will say this, I had plans to go to the Philippines
already?
Yeah. So this was kind of like the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
Because you know, and I got someone there who can kind of show me around and the other, and everything just kind of spiraled from there. So that's kind of how we met. Fast forward a little bit, I went there in September of last year. I want to stay maybe like 12 days. Had a ball, met her family, met moms and pops and everybody, and had a great time. Fast forward a little bit, I was going to go for New Year's, and I ended up fracturing my ankle.
Right.
So I couldn't go. And so I booked a ticket to go so I can be there for both of our birthdays.
And how'd you fracture your ankle?
Hey, listen, all I'm going to say, it was me feeling like I was 17 again. And the reality came in that you were not 17 again. Even in just balance principles. I was horsing around with some guys, man. And we were wrestling around. But we were on the sidewalk. Mm-hmm. So now, granted, this guy, he kind of is into like the mixed martial arts and stuff.
Yeah.
So
he was moving you around.
Right,
yeah,
right. Yeah. So I missed the step off the curb. And what made it, I know he felt bad. I could tell in his face he felt bad, but it was nothing he could do. He actually tried to catch me.
Yeah.
Nah, dog. I'm too heavy to catch like that. Yeah. But that's what it was, man. We was just horsing around, and that misstep.
That's it.
That was it.
That's it. You know, like falling off the curb is dangerous territory. Like the last time I really fell off a curb, like I probably could have died. But I don't know if anybody's familiar with like the old Charger Stadium in San Diego. Like you used to park, like you could park way up the hill because it was kind of like down at the bottom, right? And I remember I was with one of my exes and like her family and stuff like that. And I was just shooting the shit, telling jokes, like being all cool. And I went to step off a curb. Man, I completely misjudged that curb. I fell so hard.
Yeah.
And I started rolling, and I thought I was going to roll all the way down that hill because the momentum was too much.
Right.
And I had to like sprawl myself out to stop myself. And that shit was so embarrassing. I was just like, in the middle of the street.
Yeah. It you know what, man. I backed up and everything. But I was like, I could tell something was wrong. Honestly, I thought I sprained my ankle. I was like, it's probably sprained. Drove home, got to the house, went up the steps. Laid down for about 5 minutes, and that thing is just like,
yeah.
And I looked at it, I said, man, that's swole pretty bad.
Yes.
So I tell my brother, I was like, man, I think I'm gonna go to the emergency room. He was like, oh, you need me to drive you? No, man, it's fine. Drove myself all the way there. Got there, they took an X-ray. The doctor said it had a small fracture on the inner side. And I was like, oh, okay. So, they put it in like a little splint, whatever. Well, by the time I went back to the podiatrist, it had swollen up even more, and it got what they call a fracture blister. Ugh. And the doctor was just like, okay, yeah, I'm looking at the x-rays, but they really didn't take good x-rays. It's like, I see the small fracture that he's talking about, but that shouldn't do all of this.
Yeah.
So then when they took the x-ray of the outer part of my ankle, it was almost broke.
Oh shit. So wait, so they just see one side, a little hairline?
Yeah. Ugh. Bro, it was almost completely broke. And they're like, how'd you get here? I said, I drove. So we can't let you drive home. I was like, shit, I drove here.
What do you expect?
So then my brother and my mom, she had to come get me. My brother went with her so he could drive my truck home.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the doctor was just like, well, I really think you need to go ahead and get surgery because it was not aligned. So it was off a little bit. So like part of the bone was sticking out like this, and then the other part was.
And they couldn't just like align it and.
Yeah, and they had to go in and line it up like this. They put a plate and 6 screws in.
Dang.
Yeah, man.
R.I.P. drum career. You know what I mean?
Listen, it and it's the right foot. It might be okay if it was the left, but the right one is in it. I'm telling you. You know, I think I told you the other day. You know, I sat in when my drummer at church had to leave a little early, and it was just difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But you know, so anyway, that's why I didn't go back for New Year's and end up going for both of our birthdays. And I think I stayed for half a month then. And, but you know, we talk every day. I think me and you were talking before. You know, we was gonna talk a little about the long distance relationships, and it's all communication, honestly. As long as y'all have good communication and trust, you know, it should be okay. So we communicate every day, FaceTime every day. And like I say, when I go, I try to stay for a good amount of time.
Yeah, I feel like you're there for a pretty long trip every time you're there.
Yeah. So, you know, it just, I think for our situation, it works. And she's working now, so shout out to her Chime crew there, TL and the rest of the gang. So I think that helps too because we both kind of stay busy.
Yeah.
So
are we getting paid for that plug? I just want to double check. We're getting paid for that plug. I'm just kidding.
So you know, it works. I think staying busy kind of helps too.
Yeah. So
now we're at the point where we'll start on all of our paperwork that we have to fill out for her and Andrea, her daughter, to get ready to come over this way.
Right. Right. So you know when you're in a long-term relationship like this, you know, and you're in a long-distance relationship also, like what's kind of like you know, aside from like being able to FaceTime each other and you know being able to talk that way, like what are some other things that you guys do to kind of make sure that everything stays fresh and, you know, like stays exciting, I guess. Not you don't have to go into like, you know, I realized as that was coming out that I was like, wait a second, this might be leading down a path.
Mike,
but,
you know,
you know, but like, maybe we could just scratch that question.
you know, but you know what, man? Honestly, I think it's important that both people have things to do.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, then I think that the long distance will get to you. Because it's not like I can wake up tomorrow and be like, hey, let's go grab breakfast or let's go get dinner, right?
Yeah.
But if you're working full time, or even if you're not working, if you're just volunteering or helping people or doing something to stay busy, to occupy that time, I think that helps a lot.
Right.
And you know, with my schedule, I work a regular job. I'm at the church. I got the girls. So, you know, it stays pretty busy.
Yeah.
But we still make time to try to talk and just check in on each other. How was your day? How's everything going? What's going on? What do you need?
Yeah.
Like, you know, what do you think about this? And that's one thing I will say I like about Aubrey. Like, I bounce a lot of heavy stuff off of her just to kind of get her opinion and things on that. And, you know, she always tells me how she feels. And then, but she also said, well, I think this is what's right.
Right.
So, you know, and it's honestly just having open and honest conversation. There are days, sometimes open and honesty, actually, it hurts.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, man.
You know, hey, it's either we're going to make it through or we're not.
Yeah.
But, you know, for me, and then, you know I have to work on my delivery on something because I'm just blunt. And me and her had this conversation when I was there last time. I don't try to be an asshole or nothing like that. I'm just blunt.
I just am.
Listen, I'm just blunt. But
Yeah.
you know what, man? Even my parents, they say the same thing. They're just like, man, you don't ever add no sugar, no salt, no seasoning to it. You just
like for somebody that seasons a lot, you don't add any seasoning on this. You know what I mean?
Right. So for me, I guess I can work on that and soften up. Not to the point to where I feel like I'm kissing your butt, but just to the point to where I feel like that her or anybody else can receive it better.
Right. You're aware of how they're going to feel by saying
right.
It.
But to be honest, all my friends are blunt.
Yeah.
You, my buddy Jay South, they're all just blunt people.
I think that's part of why we all got along though, is because it was just, this is what it is. Like we laid the cards out on the table, and either you fuck with it or you don't. Like that's just always been how things were, But I get that. Like I think I have to work on that too. Like my delivery.
Especially
sometimes I'm mean to Jesse. Sometimes I'm mean to Jesse.
Yeah. Verbal abuse.
Yeah.
Verbal abuse.
Yeah.
But especially for women, because a lot of women don't communicate like men do. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I have to find that sweet balance to where I don't feel like I'm kissing your ass.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
But you just have to find that right balance to where it's received in a good, pleasant way,
right?
Without me feeling like I'm simping.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
It's a hard territory to be in because there are times when you just want to be like, what the fuck are you doing? No. Right, but other times you're like, hey, what's going on? Like, what? Right. And both of those mean the exact same thing to me, but it's about the delivery and it's about how somebody's going to receive it.
Right.
So that I get it. And that makes sense. As far as so I feel like you've been trying to, and you have been part of a Filipino family since we were kids. But now you're officially becoming like an honorary Filipino. You know what I mean? You're more Filipino than me at this point.
I am.
Spending time in the motherland.
I am.
But I'm kind of curious. Like, what was your culture shock? What was the culture shock for you going over there, and experiencing life out there? And then how do you think she's gonna respond coming out here to the States? Especially like to Georgia, to being in the South, things like that.
To be honest with you, Mike, the Filipino culture reminds me of the old African American culture. I would say in about 85 to 90% of the ways. The only difference that I can see is that oftentimes in the Filipino culture and family, sometimes the kids never leave home, sometimes the parents never leave, or they move in and they're just
it's all
there.
Intermingled. Yeah, it's generational.
Yeah. That's one of the biggest differences that I see versus here. We're taught, hey, get out of school, go to college, get out of college, get a job, get out.
Yep.
Right. Now, I will say this, my parents were never really like that. But though, they still want you to be responsible with your money. And I also know they're not like that because if you are going to move out, they want you to be able to afford wherever you go.
Right.
But I know many others who had to leave when they were 18 and stuff like that. Now, my parents would say you got to leave when you're 18, but
you got to figure it out.
You eventually got to go stand on your own tooth, buddy. Mm-hmm. Whereas the Filipino culture is not really like that.
Well, I mean, I think the idea of like, especially like in the Filipino culture, and I think with a lot of other like minority cultures, like Hispanic culture and things like that, it's like you grow up and your parents take care of you up to a point where the roles switch, and then you take care of your family. Like as soon as you're able to do that, then that's why a lot of like Filipino families, you'll see like Lola lives with us, or whatever it is, like your grandma, your grandpa, and the generations and extended family it's a tribe, you know, like, so my kids will be help be raised by my parents because we're all in the same household.
But when you think about it though, you know, my background, my pop's passion, all that stuff, is actually very biblical. It's actually more biblical than how we do here in America.
Yeah.
And to me, it's actually smarter. That's just a big difference. Now, I like the way that they do it, and all that is fine for me. I think for me, and this is what I tell my girls: y'all can stay as long as y'all want.
Yeah.
Stack your money, do all that stuff. Now, when you're getting married, that's the time,
right,
for you to go and start your own and build your own. But up until that point, I don't care if they're 40, 50. If you're not married, you know.
Would you feel different if you had boys?
No, I wouldn't. That's the thing. I would feel the exact same way. Son, you should be stacking up, because when you get married, you got to have a place for y'all to go.
Yeah.
It's on you now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, I know what some people do is, you know, some parents, they will end up giving the kids their house and either downsize or whatever, but they kind of work it out to where now the kids are taking care of them. So even though they gave them the bigger house, the kids are all chipping in, paying for it. Yeah. The parents stay in the smaller house or whatever. And then if it gets to a point where they need to stay with somebody, you know, it's still okay.
For sure.
So, you know, I love that about the Filipino culture, because it's all about taking care of your parents and the older generation. Whereas in America, it's not really like that. It's like, hey, man, you better go to that old folks' home.
Yeah, stick them in a nursing home.
Yeah,
call it a day.
Call it a day. I'll pay the bill, but you can't come inconvenience me. And I don't like that. I definitely agree with, you know, hey, when your parents are older or whatever, retired, not working, don't have income coming, I mean, they raised you all these years. They can't get a damn room.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
So, you know.
In like, you know, in my family, you know, my parents are still pretty independent, and I still strive to get to a point where I'm like, let me take care of you guys, because you guys have done so much for me. You know, and that's the unfortunate part of that, is especially in California and everywhere you go around the States, but like a lot here, that's getting harder and harder to do. And it's like, okay, well, how do you find a way to make that happen? Right? Like it's a different type of hustle that you have to figure out to get to that point, you know? Like I'll put this in the universe. Like I still have a goal, you know, to get my pops a Porsche, you know, one of these days, even if I don't have to drive something nice, like, you know, but it's just that mentality of like taking care of your elders, taking care of your family, you know, and kind of we're all in this together. And I think a lot of that is lost in American culture, where it's like, you know, that like it takes a village mentality doesn't really apply.
It doesn't. But you know what though? I believe America is on the verge where it's going to have to be the case, because things are getting so expensive here.
Yeah.
That it's going to be like, mom, dad, kids, we all going to chip in and take care of these bills and stack money. It's going to get to a point where you just have to.
And another thing that like I've been wanting to like I've always talked about, like I have a dream of getting a ranch, right? Like I want a ranch where I can have land and you know, I can have animals and I can have, you know, all this shit. But one of the big things that you're seeing now is people are getting back into homesteading, where it's like, hey, instead of you getting a house, you get a homestead and have all your family live on here. You guys don't have to live in the same house, but you guys are on the same land. You guys
That's actually something that I want to get into.
Yeah, and I love that idea. Like it's a community. It's not just, you know, like me and my dad. When my dad was moving out here, one of our family friends that I used to work with actually was like, "Why don't you guys just buy a house together?" And me and my dad were both like, "Nah." And you know, we're a little past that stage, but like it would be one of those things where like, if we had like a ranch, like a homestead where like, hey, we still live on the same property, but we have our own space, we're independent. Like that to me is like the best, the ideal, you know, like if anything happens, I'm right there.
Right.
But you still have your own life. You still have your own everything.
So that is what me and Aubrey talked about, getting in the Philippines, because I told her, you know, if you come here and the girls get older and get grown and self-sufficient, when it's time for me to retire, I'll retire there. So one of the things we wanted to do there is look for land or property to where, you know, mom and pops can kind of have their own little space, own little house.
Yeah.
We can have ours there. If we have guests or whatever, we even have like a little guest house and stuff on the property for that as well. So that's one of the things we talked about having out there.
That's dope.
And it would be great if I can have it here, but you know, like I said, you can get it here, but you got to kind of go somewhere real rural right now.
Yeah, right now, yeah. Yeah, it's gotten to the point, especially like in California, dude. Like I've looked at, like throughout the years, I've looked at ranch properties, and I'm just seeing like them go up and up and up and up in price, and then taxes and all this stuff like that. I'm like, and now California's trying to tax you when you leave. Like, oh well, you left California, but you still got to pay these taxes. Like, excuse me.
Okay, so I know that.
Yeah, so
well, a lot of people left during COVID because they started working from home.
Yeah.
And then they can get cheaper properties in Georgia or Texas or, you know, somewhere like that.
You still see affordable ranches in Texas. I still might go to Texas.
Man, listen, everything's bigger in Texas. Even their house sizes for the price points are really nice. Yeah. So, you know, that's one of the differences I notice about culture there versus culture here. But I don't think it's the Philippines that needs to change. It's America.
It's America,
that needs to change on that one.
Yeah.
We need to do better about taking care of our parents and grandparents and those kind of things.
And how do you think that that she's going to handle being so far away from her family? Because really, you know, if she's going to come out here, you know, that's going to be a bigger change for her, really, than it is going to be for you.
Well, Aubrey's used to working abroad. She was in Dubai for several years working and stuff like that. So she's used to being abroad. But, I mean, she actually has family. She has an aunt here in Cali. She has a cousin in Texas.
I'm like, what's her aunt's name? Do I know her?
I have to ask her for her aunt's name, but she has an aunt here.
Is she a nurse over here at the hospital?
I think she actually.
I
think she is a nurse, though. Hey. No, all jokes aside, I believe she is a nurse.
And they're from the province where my mom's from, right?
Aubrey lives in the province where your mom's from.
But
Bulacan.
But they're not from Bulacan. Okay.
So, and then, like I said, she has a cousin here in Texas. Matter of fact, shout out to Rhea and Luden out there in the Philippines. It's Rhea's sister. She's the one that's here. Those are the ones that did my dental work for me in the Philippines.
That's the plug right there.
That's the plug. M. Salazar Dental Clinic in Bulacan. That's the plug. Go check them out. Hey, Luden. I got you.
Hey, man, Jesse, take note of all these invoices that we need to send out after this.
But, so, you know, her cousin is here in Texas. And then a good friend she used to work with overseas is in Florida.
Okay.
So, you know, they're all right there.
Yeah. She got people out here. That's cool. Yeah.
So, you know, my thing is, though, and even when her and Andrea come, I plan on, we still going to go.
Back and forth.
Yeah.
That's cool. And then her parents, they have any plans to come out here, or are they gonna?
Yeah, I want them to definitely come and visit. I don't think they have any plans to come out here and live, but
are they retired?
Her dad still works. He's a chef, and yeah, he.
So you're living it up. You're getting the good, Filipino food.
Pops hooks it up, but you know Aubrey can cook too. So yeah. She hooks it up too. But you know, for me, all that stuff is all good. But I was thinking about the ranch thing. So you know, with our land in Swanee, that's how it's kind of set up.
Yeah.
So it's like my brother and them just got my grandfather's property right here. My Aunt Sandy's right here. My Aunt Karen, which is Zaid and Tahir's mom's, right here. And in between my Aunt Sandy and Aunt Karen, my property is right here. Then my parents' property is right here.
Yeah.
And then I have my Aunt Gail and my cousin Tiffany and her husband. Their property is right here. So we're kind of set up.
That Scales Road, you know, that was the hard, like probably the hardest little block, like in the area. You just go over there and be like, okay, this is, you know, everybody knew everybody. Who was the dude that used to live across the street, like the crazy old drunk dude?
Larry.
Was it Larry? I remember one night Larry just sitting out on the porch with me. It was like, I think your graduation party, and we were just drinking that hunch punch, and he was like, man, I gotta tell you a story about the stars. Look at the motherfucking stars, bro. I was like, what are you talking about? he was so cool, but he was just like, every time I saw him, he was so drunk every time. But yeah, man, that was that's the way that little neighborhood is set up. Are they still like building all around there?
I think for the most part, my family and got cousin adjacent to our properties are the only ones who really been able to hold out.
Yeah.
And we get calls and texts every day.
Because they want to extend all those neighborhoods into that.
You want to sell? You want to just, no, I sure don't. No, thank you.
Because that land, that right there on Scales Road, like there's so much property, right? Like it just backs up to the woods right there, and that, like it's like a beautiful little area, especially if it's like, you know, especially like when the houses were renovated and fixed up and everything. That shit was like awesome. But that's like prime real estate right there.
It is. The school districts are good. So, you know, everybody wants to get in right there.
They still have that little Old Town Suwannee little railway car down there?
Yeah, it's still there. It's still there. You know where that old antique building is? Yeah. Right there? They're getting ready to turn that into a restaurant.
No way. Is it going to be like one of those, like one of those like food lab type places with like the food court and stuff, or is it?
I don't know what kind yet, but all it says is restaurant coming.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That building's cool as long as they don't fuck with the building. Like
no, I you know that they can't destroy that building because that building's been there for so long. So.
There's a little gazebo and everything still there too. A little stage, and like the playground and like a little skate park area.
Yep. Okay. Yep. That's still there. I had to think about it.
That's where I learned how to
basketball court and all that's still there.
That's where I learned how to kickflip, man.
Yeah.
Also, make a side note that little train car is when I went and cried when me and my girlfriend broke up because I got kicked out and moved to California. Sad out there.
That's what you did?
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't tell you I was down there crying because I was like, who's gonna make fun of me?
Who was the girlfriend at the time?
Elise. Remember, like, we had just started dating right when I got kicked out? Right when I got kicked out of the house, my dad was like, you're going to California. And I was like, all right. I remember I came back and she was already dating some other dude. I came back for spring break and we got into that little scuffle at Wendy's. You were like, get in the car. Fuck out of here.
Yeah, I don't remember Elise.
She was a little cheerleader chick.
The name sounds very familiar. I just I can't picture her in my brain, but
it's okay. It's not a big deal.
You know, look, man.
That's my.
I don't know if I would have made fun. I don't think I would have made fun of you, but I probably would have said some shit like, "Man, it's a bunch of women out here, dog. Don't even be tripping on this one."
But this was the girl I had a crush on.
Yeah, and you going to Cali? That's right.
This is the girl I had a crush on all through high school, and I finally got my chance, man. And then I got thrown out, sent to the wolves.
I don't know about getting sent to the wolves, but you might. It's all over dramatic. You might have got kicked out, but I don't know about sent.
I remember I got when I first moved out here. I remember I was in school in La Sierra. It was right around the time I met Mike, the other Mike that is on this podcast, and you know, I was like in my feels and shit, and then that's when I found out that she had started dating some other dude. You know, we were still like, she had sent me pictures, like her, school photos and a little card and everything
photos?
like that. Yeah.
You said some pictures,
School photos.
Okay.
We didn't have cell phones back then. You couldn't do all that shit.
Yes, we did.
Not good enough. Like, yeah, you could send a photo, but that shit was grainy as hell. You're like, is that a...
Man, that's true. It was pixelated like a mug.
Just like these 8-bit boobs on the screen, you know what I mean? Like, is this a titty or is this Super Mario? I can't tell. But yeah, so I remember like she had sent me pictures, right? Like from the yearbook photos and stuff, from the senior pictures. And then I found out she was dating some other guy. And I was like looking at these photos and I was all sad, and it started raining outside. So I just sat in the rain. Sealed my emo moment and just sat in the rain, and then I threw the pictures away.
See, you know what? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good that you didn't tell me. Because I would have said, see, it's the nut huggers that you wear. It's why you acting like that. Cut off circulation to your balls. And you acting like a little B.I.B.I.
That was I think we told this story last time, but I remember being at Waffle House and you met me at Waffle House, and I was wearing girl pants. I was wearing the tight. You had the long hair, and you were like, "Can you even breathe in those motherfucking pants? What are you doing? Motherfucker, I can see your nuts." Yeah, man. So that was my that train on Scales Road. I have memories of just being sad. Kicking rocks in front of him all aggressively.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
But, I will say this. Going from Georgia to Cali to Uncle Sam's house wasn't a bad move.
No.
I've been to Uncle Sam's house.
It was probably one of the best things that could have happened. So, yeah. Realistically.
And Uncle Sam was probably the flavor that you needed for that time period, to be honest with you. And it's like that. So I got an uncle like that.
Yeah.
When me and my dad were like this, yeah, it was. I needed one of my uncle's flavor.
Yeah.
To where it's like, I still gonna respect, what your parents taught you. However, I'm the uncle, so I can say some things that they might can't say. I can do some things that they might not do.
Yeah.
Because I remember, man, I had my first shot of Patron with Mike and Uncle Sam.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Put you onto the tequila, and now we got this, Oh, it didn't even work. We got this bottle right here, but
gonna have to edit that out, Jesse.
No, believe it. It's all real on this show. Everything's real. Yeah, I think that was probably. I mean, just overall, one of the best things that could happen to me. Like at the time, I was so resentful towards my dad. Like, man, he's fucking kicking me out of the house. All I want, and it was because I really just wanted to like play music and hang out with my friends, and I just didn't really give a shit about school. And to my dad, he was like, "This is your ticket out, is to go to school. Like, you have to just buckle down and do this, So when he gave me the choice, he was like, "You can either go back to California, stay with your uncle, stay with your cousins, finish out school, or you can go to all boys school in North Carolina." And I was like, "Cool, going back to Cali." So but in the end, like, I'm sure I was just upset. Like, my girlfriend at the time, it wasn't really even a serious thing. I think it was just something extra to be upset about because, oh shit, like I got the girl that I've been trying to go after. Like, I'm playing like music with friends, everything like that. And then it all just kind of crumbles. And so it was like, okay, well, now I'm in a new school. Now I'm in a new place. Now I got to meet new people. Damn, my girl broke up with me. Like, it was just kind of like those layers of shit to be sad about.
Right.
But it gave some good ammunition for, the later hardcore bands and everything that were to come of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I think in the end, it was probably like the best thing that could have happened, because realistically, we wouldn't be here today if that never happened too.
Right.
Right.
It's true. It's true.
So, yeah, it is what it is. I'm glad I never told you I was crying on the train.
Yeah, because I was gonna blame it on them pants you was wearing. Man, it had him acting like a little B.I.B.I.
If there's one person that did not support my emo movement, it was Bryan.
It's not true. I'm fine with the music and all that stuff. I just can't get into them jeans.
To be fair, I couldn't get into those jeans either.
No pun intended.
We made it work. Oh man.
Yeah, But you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. So even now, you're in Cali, you got your girl and everything, and then you got the kids. How is that for you?
It's it's been I think it's good for me. Mm-hmm. It's definitely given me a little more a sense of purpose. Because for a long time it was kind of like, okay, cool, like we're just finding shit to do to keep busy, and my life was just pretty much consumed with like go to work, come home, find more projects to work on, find more shit to do. And there wasn't really like a a sense of like I didn't feel like I was needed for anything, if that makes sense. And I think I thrive better in situations where like even though I may be stressed out, I feel like I'm contributing something to or to someone. And it's kind of tough to navigate because like there's certain scenarios with the kids where it's like also I'm stepdad, right? I'm not like their actual father, so like there's weird lines or weird boundaries that I have to navigate around. But all I can do is just, it kind of makes me want to be the best that I can be, because I just want to be the best example. Right. So, and that kind of comes with like, I had hit this I guess you could say depression, where like I was stressed out, gained a lot of weight. And, a few episodes back, I made that pact with Andrew that like in 6 months, we're going to do the 6 months challenge. So I can get back into shape, get back fit and everything like that. But as now I'm starting to feel those changes, like even though it's just been a few weeks, just the consistency alone, like
I'm going to hop on that 6 month challenge with y'all, but go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Talk to Jesse. He hasn't started yet.
Oh, you're on it too, Jesse? No, I started. All right, so we're all on record. We're going to hop on this 6 month challenge. Yeah. But go ahead.
But so, yeah, like I can feel even just those changes where it's like, even just like having more energy to like keep up or do things like that feels good, So it's really just, it's a cool place to be, to where I know, like, because for a while, and I think I can admit this now, like it was like a little bit of a spiral where I'm like, I could go out and like party tonight and get drunk and get hammered, and we can go out and like, like just be belligerent. And it doesn't matter if I come home tomorrow or not, and like, I know in a sense it does, but because like, I'm just like, you're coming home to like an empty house, like whatever, there wasn't the same, the same frame of mind as to now, like, oh, hey, I have somebody to go home to, like if anything happens, I have responsibilities and things, and people that count on me and that rely on me. So it's definitely like a change of like a change of pace, but also a change of like the way I look at things too. Because I mean, Jesse can attest to this. Like we had a few nights where it was like, I don't know how we made it home alive, right? And like, mind you, like that's bound to happen when you're
been there before. Yeah, so I get it.
But like there were times when we just like, what are we doing? Right. It's like 3 a.m. and we're standing in front of a pool hall that's closed, and we're like, the fuck is happening right now? Right. So yeah, it's just given like a different perspective on things. And that, I mean, it comes with its own stresses and it comes with its own, things, but I think it's probably a lot better for me to have something to, kind of strive for and work for. Yeah. So, can't complain about that.
Yeah, it's different, and not, for me, I got 3 daughters, Cameron, Kai, and Kendall. Aubrey has 3, Athena, Arthur, and Andrea, and then 2 granddaughters, Luna and Marietta. So for me, it's just like, man, you got 6 kids.
Yeah, man. The grays in that beard are about to be way more gray.
You know what? Well, the beautiful thing is, Athena and Arthur are in their 20s, early 20s, but they're pretty much grown. They're in their 20s. Andrea, she'll be 13 on the 16th of this month. Cameron, she'll be 16 this year, and then Kaya just turned 9, and Kendall, she just turned 7. So the good thing is we don't have any babies.
Yeah.
Right. And I know she always asks, you want one more? And in my mind, I get it, but I just don't want to start over, I think.
Yeah.
But
that might change when you guys are like,
yeah,
you know, when you guys are in the same household living together.
Right. And it could. I'm not shutting it down all the way, because I know if we did have a child together, that would only bridge the family. That right there is that would be the bridge. You know what I'm saying?
And that'd be a beautiful ass baby.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, it would be.
You know,
gorgeous. But it's just to be like, yeah, man, I got 6 kids and 2 granddaughters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's some old man talk right there.
Yeah.
Listen, young man.
Yeah. But it's all the blessing, and you know what I like about kids is they all have different personalities.
Yeah.
Right. But though I will say another good thing is, because Aubrey has a boy, it's like I got a son. So I feel a lot better. I ain't the only guy. You know what I mean? So now I'm like, hey, son.
And how old's your son? How old's your son?
Arthur is 21.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So nah, hey, man, that's my little drinking buddy when I go there. Man, he's always down. I love it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and even Athena, she has a boyfriend, Christian. He's pretty cool too. So I hope it works out for them. And if it does, then I'm like, man, I got son-in-law too. So you know.
And if it doesn't, you got shooters in your corner. You know,
yeah, it's all good. It's all good. So it's all good. But just being able to sit back and sometimes just think about the bigger picture, I'm just like, wow. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. For me, when I was younger, I wanted as many kids as I can afford.
Yeah.
And I think for me that is still the case. Mm-hmm. It's just that life moves quicker than my paycheck.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
So, but this is a good way. This is a good way to go about it. 'Cause like I say, I get 2 grown kids to come in the picture, and they're doing great, and so I think it works out a little better this way.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to it, man. And her kids are great, all respectful and everything. And my kids know I don't play that, so they're respectful and everything. So it kind of, it's cool. And I know that the girls, they talk to Athena and them and stuff like that. They FaceTime or text.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's actually very cool.
That is cool.
And
yeah.
I remember Kaya texted me when I was over there. Dad, I really like Athena, and just that. So I mean, it's really cool to see, because sometimes when you bring two families together, you don't really know exactly how it's going to merge.
People butt heads, and,
but though so far, seems to be going pretty good.
Yeah.
But I will say this: Aubrey kids was raised right, and I'm doing everything to raise mine right. So it should be good. Yeah.
Man, every time I see like pictures of your kids, dude, I just feel so old.
Yeah.
So old.
Yeah.
Same thing like with Austin's kids. Like I'm just like, where's the time gone?
Yep.
And then I see all this like the gray starting in my beard.
Yeah,
like,
I noticed
the sides
that.
of my
I noticed
hands.
that.
Like, whew.
I noticed that.
Time is not being kind.
I was like, look, it might get a little gray up there. But your dad's hair has been kind of gray since I think I've known.
Yeah, my family has like historically just gone gray very early.
Mine too.
Yeah. So like even my aunts, like some of my aunts will dye their hair Auntie Vinny finally just accepted it and let her shit go white, and she looks beautiful. Like I fucking love her hair.
Yeah.
Like, do not dye this. Like, leave it the same.
Right.
But it's kind of one of those things where like everybody kind of went gray. Like, you remember my grandmother. My grandmother had straight white hair, like just full on, like not even a hint of gray. It was just pure white. So I'm hoping that like that's the way the direction I'll go, where it'll just be full on white hair, like white beard, white hair, and everything.
Right.
I think it'd be sick. But I'm not doing the Just for Men. I'm not gonna color it.
Listen, I had my stint in that. Like I said, it makes the lineup nice and crisp. I mean, it'd be fresh, professional fresh.
Yeah.
Almost look like they took a pen to it, but it's just the way you line it up with it. But, I will admit, too, I get lazy. I'm just like, man, I'm not going to be doing this every other week.
Well, it's just so much to maintain it. You just have to constantly...
And see, Aubrey, she loves the beard, and I told her, I said, babe, when I get back to the States, I'm gonna leave the goatee, but this is gonna have to go for a couple of weeks, because I'm even tired of shaping it up and maintaining. I just want to cut it. Just let my face breathe for a couple of weeks.
When's the last time you went just full clean shaven?
Never.
I did it like maybe a month and a half ago or something like that, and everybody was like, what happened to you?
I tell you because see, y'all can't see Jesse, but he has a beard too.
Yeah.
So in 6 months, if we reach our goal, I will fly back here and all of us will shave. We'll go clean shave.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Come on, we'll go clean shave. I'll feel more comfortable if I lose the weight, because then my face won't be so
It'll be all chiseled.
Yeah. So right now, the beard covers that up.
We do this to hide some of the chunk.
Double chin.
That's right.
Why's your beard so thick on the bottom? Because my chin pops up down here and allows that.
There you go. But that might be something for the y'all. How about this? Y'all leave comments and say if we reach our goals in 6 months, if you want us to
if we all need to
clean
shaven. Yeah. Okay. I'm with it.
Yeah. Maybe.
Kinda.
So
pushing this workout.
So what are, well, let me start this way. So with Aubrey, I know my mom had gave me some advice a long time ago, and she was saying, son, there's typically 3 things that will make or break a relationship: communication, finances, and sex.
Mm-hmm.
And that stayed with me. And even when me and the Aubrey talk, I told her, I said, my mom said it's 3 things that will make or break a relationship. And I said, I actually agree with that. It's your communication, your finances, and sex. And not in no particular order.
Yeah.
And she thought about it. She said, yeah, I kind of agree with that too. That's why earlier when you asked, I was like, hey, communication, especially in a long distance relationship, is very important.
It's huge, yeah.
You have to have it. And with that comes trust too. But what are your thoughts, and what have you noticed over the years in your relationships, and even the relationship that you're in now with Karaima? What do you think have been some important factors in those relationships?
I agree with your 3. I think that those are some of the biggest building blocks of relationships.
Mm-hmm.
I also think that you have to be a little selfless when you're in a relationship too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guilty of being very I get selfish is probably the proper word.
Mm-hmm.
We like to use terms like career driven and things like that, but selfish is probably I've been in relationships in the past where it was like, we have this vacation booked, but I'm going to tour, right? So I can't do this. Or I'm going to be gone for a few months. I'm going to be gone all summer, shit like that. So I think that and I think that the communication is a huge part of that. Mm-hmm. Especially if, obviously right now I'm not playing in a band that's touring full time, right? Mm-hmm. But if you're in a band that's playing full time, you have to be open and honest with your partner about that shit and saying hey, my life is going to be spent, 8 months, 9 months out of the year on the road and being gone. And that has to be something that you guys are both, like on board for, like both. And that's where that communication comes into play. But also understanding that, like, last week, Army Raw was on the episode and he was talking about, he's freshly married and he's making a real effort that when she's home, like, instead of him like playing Call of Duty or instead of him being like playing video games or doing his thing when he gets home, he makes it a point to spend quality time together. I think that's like key too. Like, I could sit back here all day and play video games and lock myself in the studio and not have to worry about anything. But, even just little, I think with crime, like little things like, hey, let's just sit down and watch a movie together. Or, like usually that means we'll watch 10 minutes of a movie and then both fall asleep on the couch, but but we're still doing it together, so it's that quality time. So I think that having that understanding that, like, when you're in a relationship, it's not just like, hey, I'm a person in this relationship. It's now we're in this together, so we have to work through things. And I think a lot of what you see today, because we're right in that era of, like, we're still kind of old school. But one thing that you see with like a lot of like younger people is like, we're so used to instant gratification and instant satisfaction, even like with Amazon. Like, if I go to order something and it takes more than 2 days, I'm like, do I really want this? Like, this shit's not going to be here tomorrow. I don't know if I want it, but like, like that instant gratification, or that like, this sucks, I'm just going to move on to what's next. Right. So there's always that idea of like, what's the next better thing for me? And understanding that mentality, especially in a relationship of like, they'll say like, oh, the grass is greener on the other side. But I think the better mentality is the grass is greener where you water it. Right. So just having that aspect of like, we can't just give up when shit is tough. Like, if we're fighting and we're going through the motions and we're going through shit, like, we're still in this together. Right. And I understand at a certain point is where you go, hey, this isn't working. Right. But so many people are not willing to go through that fight to get to that point where you say, this is going to work or it's not going to work. People just go, shit sucks, shit is tough, I'm done here. So I think that applying things like that to your relationship, I think, is going to help with longevity. And once again, it kind of all boils down to communication. Like, if you guys are not speaking like your needs and your feelings and things like that, there's no way for this to progress, because you guys are both just kind of stuck in your individual worlds, So, yeah, man. But I think, like, your mom kind of had that figured out. Those are really like the three biggest building blocks for a relationship.
And when she said it, I don't know exactly how she was thinking of it in her
You were
mind.
like, ew, mom, sex, don't talk about that.
Or, I'm grown at this time, so I got to give a damn. It is what it is. Me and my brother got here somehow, so it is what it is.
Gross, Mom.
But I think she came to those three conclusions. Well, let me say this. I came to those three conclusions because I don't want to speak for her. Because communication, I feel like, will be more so for the woman's side. Men, we communicate very straight to the point, and that's it.
Yeah.
But having a good dialogue communication is going to be more for a woman. Sex is more for the man.
Yeah.
He's going to want to every day.
Right.
A couple of times a day.
I like how you look right down the barrel of the camera. Once, twice, or thrice a day.
But financial, I think, is both.
That's both. Yeah.
And I know, just from personal experience, I can communicate up until the point to where you start to starve me sexually, and now I don't want to communicate, and now I don't even want to spend money with you.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's amazing how all three of those elements work together. So if you're doing all three, you do have the foundation of something healthy. Right. But if you take out one of those pieces, sooner or later it's going to affect.
It's going to affect something else.
The other two.
Right.
And I don't care which piece you take out. It doesn't matter. If you take out one of those pieces, it's going. If you're not communicating properly to your woman, she's not going to want to give you any.
Right.
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 If you're not giving your man any, then he's not going to want to pay bills for another grown person to live with.
That's fair.
You right? Okay.
Okay.
And then if I'm broke, and you are communicating that I need to get a job, but I don't want to get one, that financial burden on that one person is going to be a problem too.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So it doesn't matter which block you take out.
Yeah, they all kind of go hand in hand.
They go hand in hand. But if you're communicating effectively, hey, I know this happens, but hey, you gotta man up, bro. I don't, go flip burgers at McDonald's until you figure this shit out. Go do something.
Right.
Right? That way, your woman sees that you're doing something, and now she doesn't have to get mad and withhold this sexual part from you. And now you.
It's a weapon, bro.
Yeah. Some people Now I thank God for Aubrey. She's not like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But though I will say this, because those foundational blocks are there, right? And the pay is different in America than it is in the Philippines.
Right.
So, I know sometimes in my situation, she might say something about finances. But because everything else is so tight, I'm always saying, don't worry about that.
Right.
I swear I can figure that out.
Right. Just
make sure everything else is tight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fair. And I think that, like,
but if you're not doing this part and you saying on the other part, I'm just like,
I'm out.
You know what? You know me, bro. I think we had this conversation last night. I'll talk to you a few times.
Yeah. Yeah, you can only have the conversation a few times before it's like, why are we doing this?
I'm just never been one of them people that's going to talk to you years and years and years down the line.
Right.
You doing good. You doing good. If you get 3 months, you doing good.
Yeah.
Because you know what? I feel like in a couple of months is enough to create a habit.
Right.
Right? So if this is becoming your habit, it might have took you 3 months to form that habit, but it's probably going to take you some years to break that habit.
Yeah.
And if you're showing me this is your habit and you have no desire to break that habit, what I look like being here
trying to have this conversation if they're not receptive to it.
Man, I've been through that. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. As Jesse hits his vape in the
background. He puffed it for 3 times. And then years later, he's still puffing. Now, if you tell him to break that habit, I'm pretty sure it's going to take more than...
This is me breaking it.
A couple of days. You see, he's breaking it. He smokes less, but he's still smoking. That's not breaking the habit.
At least it's not a cigarette. Yeah. It's and you know what? Like, I will say this. Like, it's not everybody may have that mentality, but a majority of people do. Right? Like, yeah, not everybody is going to think the same. Not everybody is going to have the same
everybody's
thought process.
Some people can. I know people that waited 16 years.
Yeah. And
then figured out, like, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
But you hung around for 16 years.
That's a long time.
Bro, I've known people to get divorced after 20 and 30 years of marriage. And I remember talking to my pop, I'm like, man, they old as hell. What you gonna do now? I was like, yeah, if you waited that long, man, you might as well go on to stay.
Stick it out.
You
might
as well stay.
That's yeah. I mean, I worked in family law, and the reasons that people would get divorced was always either sex, money, or communication. Straight up.
That's I believe that's what it boiled down to. Mm-hmm. But it was the small.
It was the little things that
was breaking,
that were used as ammunition because one of the things fell apart. Mm-hmm. And honestly, that goes both ways.
Yeah, it does. It does. Like, it's definitely both.
So yeah, that's tough, man. And it's one of those things where like people aren't aware of how much of an impact that type of shit makes, right? I mean, like you could, we've talked about kind of how like, men are very simple, right? Like you tell us something very straightforward and we'll get it.
Yeah.
But if you're dropping like hints about something that you might want, we're not going to figure that shit out.
Not at all.
There might be some dudes out there that will.
Yeah.
I'll tell you from my experience.
It's few.
You want me to clean the dishes? Tell me, can you clean the dishes? Yeah. That's all I need, right? Can you take out the trash, right? Can you do this? Or can you please help me with this? Like, tell me straight up what you need. I got you. But if it's like, it's crazy that there's a lot of dishes in the sink, I'd be like, yeah, it is crazy. It is crazy. Why are there so many in there? I don't know what happened. I don't even go in the kitchen, like that. So it's there's definitely like, and I guess this is just two really blunt and straightforward people talking about the scenario because both of us have that mindset of like, this needs to get done. So this is what we need to do.
Right.
This needs to get done. So I'm going to tell you, this is what we need to do. This is our plan. Right. But there are other people that don't think that way or that don't function that way.
But you know what I've noticed too, Mike, is a lot of women can't handle that. They really can't.
In what sense? Like the straightforward?
I believe in the straightforwardness, and I also believe a lot of women try to add something to that because it's so simple. Mm-hmm. Okay? And this is what I mean. If you're like, hey, can you do the dishes? Right? They might be like, okay, they clean the dishes, they done mopped, they vacuumed, they dusted, they did all this stuff, and you get home, and you're just like, oh, babe, thanks for doing the dishes. And she's looking at you mad as fuck because...
You didn't notice that she also did the floors and cleaned the laundry and everything.
But that's not... And I'm just using that as a cheesy example, but that's not... Or I've noticed you might say something and what they heard is completely different. I've been through that.
Yeah.
I'll never forget, man, the relationship I was in at this time. She said, what do you want for dinner? I said, some spaghetti.
Yeah.
Okay, I get home, she cooked chicken.
So why'd you ask me what I...
Man, I didn't even need it. Because in my mind, I was prepared for spaghetti.
Okay. But why didn't she make spaghetti? She didn't want spaghetti, or because there was not spaghetti stuff there?
Mike, if you say, what do you want?
Right.
And I say spaghetti. Right? Mm-hmm. If there's... Okay. And see, this is why me and Aubrey get along so well.
Right.
If there's not spaghetti stuff there, you know what Aubrey would go do?
She'll go get the stuff.
She would go get the stuff.
Right.
Right? Or she would say, hey, we don't have that. What about this is what we have?
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Right? And that's fair.
Yeah.
But don't ask me. I almost felt like you're gaslighting me. Right?
Right.
But don't ask me and then do something not even in the same wheelhouse. Something totally different.
Right.
And then get mad at me when I'm just like, I'm good.
Yeah, I wanted spaghetti. I was thinking about spaghetti.
I'll eat it. You came, come on, bro. Who does? Come on, man.
It's funny because
but
I know the relationship that you were in, so I understand why you're so upset about this.
And you know what? It's not even that I'm upset about it. What I found out is it's a communication barrier. Mm-hmm. I might say one thing, and what you perceive, going back to the point I was making, would be totally different.
Right.
Right? You said, what did I want to eat? I told you what I wanted to eat. Your mind processed As long as I cook something, it's okay.
Right. As long as I make you dinner, it's okay.
Right.
Yeah. That is a communication thing.
So, that's why I say sometimes they don't even perceive some things
right
the same way.
Do you feel like that goes the opposite way too sometimes though? Like your lady will tell you something and you get something completely different out of it?
No.
Okay.
Listen. If my woman, hell, if Aubrey says, "Hey, babe, I need gas in the car," I'm not gonna go take her car and wash it and bring it back on empty.
Yeah, I get. Yeah,
I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna go put gas in her car. Now I might be like, "Shit, this shit is dirty. Let me wash it."
After you put the gas.
But the gas is gonna be in the car.
Yeah. Right. It's just, it feels so simple.
But though I will say the flip side of it too, because I've known people who've done this too. Their wife might, you know how women sometimes, they'll be like, you'll be like, "Babe, what's wrong? I was doing the dishes and I ran out of soap." And you're like, "You're acting like this because you ran out of soap," when that's not what's wrong. It's some other shit wrong.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, see, I'm not good at those kind of relationships.
I could tell.
You got to tell.
I can see that.
I'm not good at those kind of relationships.
I can see that you are not good in these situations.
I'm not good. You got to tell me what's really wrong.
Yeah.
So then I can move forward.
The issue is not the soap. There's something else going on, and that just triggered what the problem is. Yeah.
I'm not good at those guessing games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1,000%. I get that. Yeah.
Yeah. Just tell me.
Yeah. Just what's really wrong.
Even if I did something, tell me, because I'm not too big of a person where I'm not going to apologize.
Right.
If I did something that really fucked you up or made you mad or whatever, I'm going to apologize.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to try not to do it again.
Yeah. But you have to tell me what it is so I don't do it again without knowing.
Right.
Right.
So, back this all communication stuff.
You really aren't good at this deciphering code situation.
I'm really not. If you want flowers, just tell me you want flowers.
I'm expecting a girl bush or something.
Yeah.
Right. If you like white roses, just tell me.
Yeah.
You like white roses.
Mm-hmm.
Because then I won't bring you no yellow ones. Right?
Right.
But and it's funny, but I believe if communication, you peeled back the layers on both sides and just kind of shot straight, but in a way that both parties can receive it. Because like I said, I know I can be blunt, but I don't mean no harm.
Right.
But you talk straightforward. I think a lot of relationships would run more smoother.
Right. I agree. I think what it boils down to is getting to that level and understanding, but I don't know, understanding first how you and your partner both communicate is a huge step in the process, right? Like, I'm very straightforward with Karima. Karima sometimes won't tell me what's going on until I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Like, why are you, and then it comes out, right? So it's like, this could have been solved if we'd have talked about this from the beginning.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah. When this was a problem. But also, by now, I can tell and I know that what she's upset about right now is not what she's really upset about. But you just have to still tell me what is the actual cause of this.
Well, right? Damn, Mike, every man, I think, could pick up on something's off. I'm not saying I'm just oblivious to something off. What I'm saying is
there's a lot of dudes that are completely oblivious.
What I'm saying is I'm not going to be guessing either.
True. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Yeah.
I don't read minds.
Did I do this? What was it? This?
See, and you know what? Some women, they do that to try to get you to confess some shit that.
Babe, I swear, it was just a stripper from 34th. I don't even know who she was.
Single Mother Foundation.
I was just trying to help her put her kids through college.
So, but like I say, for me, it all goes back to what my mom said, man. Those three things I've learned is kind of like, that's really the foundation.
Yeah.
And it's a good solid one. So when you meet a person and you have those three foundations, I think it works out well. And even in the financial aspect, I'm not talking about even both of you having money like that. I don't think you have to be rich or anything like that. But I think just even understanding finances.
And you have to be on the same
and being on the same page with just understanding it.
Right.
I think that goes a long way.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Life lessons with Bryan Bowens.
Hey, listen, man. Hey,
the little rainbow.
You know what? Hey, been through several relationships over the years. So.
Yeah, we could tell. My boy's been through the trenches. Got like bombs and shit going off behind him as he reminisces. Yeah. We'll end with this. How's it feel to be a passport bro?
Hey man, listen, it's good for me. I can't speak for nobody else. It's good for me.
Yeah, man.
Listen, hey, you know what? You have some people who talk trash about it. You have some people who support it. I'll be honest with you. I don't give a damn on either sides, man. You got to do what you have to do to be happy.
Right.
And, you have to find that person who, I'm going to just say it like this, who understands you and who wants to understand you to really make it work. Does Arby agree with everything I say or do? Absolutely not.
Yeah, she's probably going to be mad at you after this episode.
For what?
I don't know. Something you said in code?
No, I had to say nothing in code negative to her. But, I think when they can understand you and they can see your vision and stuff like that, it helps go a long way. The sad thing about, I think, dating in America right now is a lot of people want to, for lack of better words, they say they're chasing the bag.
Right.
Which is fine if you're chasing the bag, but if you're chasing the bag and I'm chasing the bag, you shouldn't need my bag.
Yeah, you have your own. Yeah.
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 But I noticed that all the ones who are chasing the bag don't never seem to have their own.
Yeah, I think it's
But though I still think it's good. I think it's good. Women over here still.
I think there are too.
So I'm never gonna say that. It just so happened I found mine from the Philippines.
Yeah,
that's me though.
And I think that really boils down to like, you can't. They always talk about like this whole passport bro movement is dudes leaving the States to find women outside of the U.S. who have different mentalities, who have different, like they are more family oriented. They're more interested in being in a like committed monogamous relationship and being together for the long run, things like that. But also like all that aside, like you can't fake a connection with someone. You can, but it only lasts for so long, right? So even though, some people may say like, oh, you went overseas to find your wife. So what? Like this is where I found that person that I connected with.
Right.
That understands me. I understand her. This is how we ended up working out together. It's funny to joke about. It's funny to be like, hey, Dave, Bryan. But at the same time, it's I think that. Like I think you're a smart dude. You wouldn't and after what you went through with your last marriage and with that whole situation, you wouldn't just propose to somebody random. As a matter of fact, I clearly remember having that conversation with you on the phone where you were like, I'm never getting married again. Yeah. Never doing this again, Mike. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And I believe you meant it at that time. Yeah. You meant it at that time. And then, somebody comes along that just changes that whole mentality on the world, Right. So
you know what it is, Mike. One thing I really love about Aubrey is a lot of things that most women consider minor or inconveniences.
Mm-hmm.
She does, and it just helps me out tremendously. It's the little things that most feel like they're too good to do or too good for, right? And what it does is it takes stress off to me to allow me to do what I need to do.
Right.
But one thing about me, and this is whether I'm in a relationship, a friendship, or whatever, if I feel like you got me, then I got you times 10.
Right.
And that's just what it is.
Yeah.
You know, I know even when I go to see Aubrey, you know, what you want for breakfast? What you want for lunch? What you want for dinner? She doesn't
spaghetti.
mind cooking. She doesn't.
She cooks
Fried chicken.
Filipino spaghetti.
Chicken. Fried chicken's on point, bro. I'm telling you.
Filipino fried chicken, man.
It's popping. But the little things she doesn't mind doing. Hey babe, can you iron my shirt? Yeah, I got it. There's no argument. It's no.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It's not like it's beneath her to do those things.
Right.
But see, here's the flip side too. It ain't nothing that she can't ask that I'm not gonna do or make happen or figure out how to make happen.
Right. It's
because
a reciprocal thing.
You know, take care of those things and do it with an excellent attitude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I be watching YouTube videos of some of these women nowadays talking about I ain't cooking, I ain't nobody's slave, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, motherfucker, get a dog and die alone.
Should that be the episode? Get a dog and die alone with Bryan. No, but I know what you mean though. Like I watched the video today, and there was a lady that was saying like, if I'm gonna go on a date, if you're interested on taking me on a date, you're gonna pay for the babysitter for my kids. You're gonna pay for the Uber for me to get to the restaurant. You're gonna pay for dinner, and then you're gonna pay for the Uber for me to get back. Because by you doing that, it shows me that you're ready to support me and pay my bills and pay for everything that I need in my life because I got shit to pay. I was like, you could stay your ass home.
Now watch this, Mike. I can do that.
I could do. Yeah, you can do that, but.
Here's the thing, though.
But why? Why?
Not even why. Who are you for me to do it for?
Yeah, exactly. See
what I'm saying? I told Aubrey about this and we were laughing. I forget it was some video on YouTube, man. And the woman got all dressed up. She thought the guy was going to take her to a 5-star restaurant and this, that. She got together and this, that, and the other. And then, you know, he was like, oh, meet me at my house. So she met him at his house and he ended up cooking for her. And she was pissed. I mean, she was pissed.
Why?
I spent all this time getting dressed, doing my hair, my makeup, because you said we were going to a 5-star restaurant. And this, that, and other. And I was reading all the comments. Oh, that's wrong. He should have took you to the 5-star restaurant because that's what he told you instead of cooking for you and this, that, and the other. So here was my comment. I said, okay, so if you getting dressed up, nails, hair, makeup, and all that stuff equals a 5-star restaurant, what he should have said was he wants the McDonald's package. Now, what comes with that package? You gonna throw on some sweats and a t-shirt and just come on?
Yeah.
So if you doing all these things equal 5-star, men are going to start telling y'all, give me the McDonald's package. Yeah. I don't want you to get dressed up. I don't want you to do all that shit.
Yeah.
Give me the McDonald's. What is gonna come out some Crocs and some shorts? That's fine. Give me that package.
Yeah.
But I also know, like, good brothers, you know, they're good people, good men are like, hey, let's go on a coffee date. They don't, I would never go on a coffee date.
Why?
I guess they feel like the man's supposed to spend money. But then it's wrong if a man be like, I'll take you to a 5-star. You dropping neck. Now you mad and you in your feelings. I personally just don't know where dating has gotten to this place to where it's expected for the man to get a babysitter, pay for the food, pay for the babysitter, pay for the do all these things, and this is our first date. I don't even know you.
It's a lot.
So you want me to drop $400 or $500?
It's a lot.
Just to get to know you?
I'm not. I've already. I already told Karima, and this is like, it's bad to say, but like if shit doesn't work out between me and her, we're resuming all fuckboy activities for the rest of my life. I just don't care anymore. I don't.
If it don't work out with me or Harvey, yeah, I'm gonna be single and just travel the world and see what's happening, bro. But you know, and that's one thing I teach my daughters though. Whenever they get to the age when they can start dating, you pay for your meal, let him pay for his meal. Now, when you start to get more serious, then allow him to pay.
Yeah.
But just starting out, you pay for yours, let him pay for his. And that also takes away the expectations on the table. Yeah. And I think that is the proper way for people to date, especially if you're just getting to know each other. Mm-hmm. Now, as you go to another level, now you can kind of let certain stuff go. Hey, let him pay this time, you might pay the next time.
Right.
And as you go to another level, well, I got daughters, so of course I want them to be with someone who's going to be able to take care of them. Right. Let them start taking on more dates, but that don't mean you can't contribute something. Contribute something.
Right.
But never just assume that they should just do it, or never expect that they have to. Do it. I don't like men nor women like that. I don't like men who be like, all right, if I take you out, I'm expecting the draws.
Right.
I don't like that either. It's both ways.
So you don't think that the word date means dick at the end?
Listen, that's my first time hearing that, but I kind of that's pretty good.
I heard that
bars. I
heard that from somebody else. It's not mine. I can't take credit for it. I just thought it was funny. But no, I get what you mean. Like I think that dating today has become on both sides. Up with the Joneses. There's too many expectations rather than like, let me just get to know this person. Right. And that, like I said, that could go back to like the instant gratification thing where it's like, oh, I'm taking you out, I'm going to get some. Or, oh, he's taking me out, I'm going to get a free meal. Right. But the whole aspect of everything has changed. Right. Like especially like with online dating and you know, like all this like hookup culture and things like that. Like, you know, all jokes aside about like fuckboy activities, like that's really what it's like out there though.
Yeah, it is.
Like people are just like, okay, cool, let me get it in wherever I can, whenever I can, and then that's that. You know, and that's not just dudes either.
No, it's women.
That's women too. So it's like it's become like this. I don't even think that it's dating anymore.
It's not.
There are still people that are out there that date to get to know each other. Right.
But you know, I will say this. Fuckboy activity, I feel like that's what we did in our high school, early 20s.
Yeah.
Right? The older you get, the more serious you get, the more you start thinking about things. And this is one thing I tell people all the time. At this point in my life, I'm scared to be out here doing fuckboy activity.
1000%.
What did they just had an outbreak of syphilis in Houston or somewhere in Texas? I'm like, really? Yeah, it was on the news and everything, man. And I'm like, man, my life is too precious to be out here.
Yeah, man.
It's not that serious for some nookie.
No.
You dig what I'm saying? I feel like that's a young person's mindset.
Right.
The problem is they took it from high school to early 20s, and now that's the mindset of 30 and 40-year-olds. And I'm just like, for real?
Yeah.
That's what we're still out here doing?
Mm-hmm.
Now, for me, like I said, and all jokes aside, I do believe Arby's going to be my favorite. But if something were to ever happen, I wouldn't get married again. But my plan is to travel and see the world more and do things like that to occupy that time.
Right.
Take care of the kids, make sure the kids are good, and things of that nature. And not saying that I might not get no nigga from time to time. However, to me nowadays,
it's not the priority.
It's not the priority, and the risk is too. At this point, I feel like it's too great right now, man. A syphilis outbreak, brother.
Yeah, that's
in a modern society.
Yeah, that's it's crazy that I don't know, like that is an outbreak is a big level of.
It was an outbreak,
like confirmed
that's the
cases.
Way the news, you know what I mean? Outbreak.
That's scary.
So yeah, nobody got time. Jesse, you dating?
Yeah, talking with somebody. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you be like, hey, let's go out for coffee, she's okay with that?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. She actually preferred. I was talking to her first date, and I go, let's go to a restaurant. She was, let's just go to a taco shop, to a taco truck, you know. And I thought that was cool. I thought that was like my.
The thick boy in you got real excited. Yeah, fuck coffee. I got tacos.
Yeah. But yeah, she's more of the whole, you know, let's just talk. We're talking right now, and I love that. It's fine. We stayed up until like 1 yesterday, just talking. You know, and that's like everything that I want right now.
That's cool though, because it's so rare to find.
It is,
you know?
And I feel like you're building a proper foundation.
And I didn't meet her in like dating app. I met her at the laundromat. She said that. Yeah. And she came up to me.
Yeah, me and Mike were talking about that earlier too. I was telling Mike, I was like, you know, man, the older I'm getting and all the grades are showing, I was like, Mike, it's all the younger women who come up to me, the 19 to about 30. Yeah. They all, and then I get the bracket from about 42 to 60.
Yeah.
To 60.
And it's all right. Shout out to all of them, but you know.
Shout out to all my ladies out there.
You know, it's very interesting, but it also makes me wonder, like, what are the guys in y'all's age bracket doing? You know what I'm saying?
Fuckboy activities.
It's because they want a man, but you know, everybody else is just doing party scenes and all that shit.
There have been a few people in my life, especially even now at our age, where I'm like, yo, if your mentality is just you still want to just go out and party and like try and pull girls and try and do the shit, like, well, there's no need for us to hang out, because I'm not even in that headspace, right? Like, I'm not even in that mindset anymore. Even when I was single for a long time. I was like, this is not for me, you know, like, this is not. I don't want to spend every night trying to go out and trying to figure out like who's next,
right?
You know what? You know,
it gets old. Quick.
Who can I bring home? This is my house. Like this is my home. Like this is, you know. So yeah, I just really think that like and you know, we probably sound like angry old men just ranting this whole episode, but
I think
it's almost like the reality of everything, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm a firm believer that, you know, just find that one that's going to take care of you and be down with you, and you do the same for that person, and call it a day. Because the truth of the matter is, like, everybody's not going to have your best interest in heart, and there are many that can come in your life to say they love you or whatever, but they like what they think they can get out of you or what they think you can provide for them, right? You want someone that don't mind going to get coffee because I only got $10 in the bank.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You want someone that, hey, we can go to Wendy's and get some stuff off the dollar menu because I only got a $5.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
It's not even gonna get you far anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's not gonna get you too far anymore. But that's what you want. Or, you know, in my case, I know Arby. I'm like, hey, babe, you want to go out to eat? No, babe, let's save money. I'll cook something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You want that. At least I do.
Like they have that, you know, like little saying that's like, make sure that the girl that's sitting next to you in the foreign is the same girl that would be sitting next to you at the bus stop.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So, and you know, we've been there. You just have to see, you know, like who's really the real deal or who's just here for the moment.
Right.
And it's a big difference between the two.
It is. And all that plays to your mental health too. It can be wearing and tearing and taxing on that stuff.
Yep.
So.
And then you just become bitter old men.
Yeah, I'm not old, so I'm not gonna agree with that. Bitter old men.
Shit, I am. But
you know what though? I don't think there's no reason to be bitter, man. You just learn.
Nah, yeah.
You learn, and then now you can kind of start gauging and doing better. Be like, that kind of reminds me of this. No, stay away from that or whatever.
That life experience will teach you how to identify like who's genuine and who's not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's part of why, even down to like friendships and things like that. Like your circle gets smaller the older you get because you realize who is truly here because they have your best interest in mind. Versus somebody who's just here for the ride.
Right.
So.
And I guess I'm blessed to still have the same circle I had, even back in high school. Vinco and you, my buddy Jay South, and I do got 2 new partners, Nashawn and TJ. And they're just good people.
I like TJ though.
Man, I like to hang out with people to where I don't have to worry about nothing, and they don't have to worry about nothing. Hell, even with Vinco, we go out, man. He'll pay one time, I might pay the next. We do the same thing. Like I don't want to have to worry about none of that stuff. Yeah, man. Just because it's that brotherhood, that camaraderie, that friendship, man. You just take care of each other, and those are some of the things you want, even in your relationship with your old lady. Like I don't want to worry about certain things with Aubrey, and I don't have to. She takes care of those things.
Right. And
it would be the same for Karima. You don't want to worry about certain things. She handles that. She takes care of that.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same for Jesse now that he's dating.
Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm. Look at he got a big cheese on his face.
We'll come back in a few months and talk about that. See how that's come along.
Yeah. I'm interested to see how it is.
6 months.
6 months marker. Okay. We can do that.
Well, that being said, let's get out of here, man. For those of you guys that are still catching the
Spotify.
What?
Spotify.
Oh yeah, the playlist. So we do a weekly song. What have you been jamming lately? What's the song that you want to add to our playlist?
So I have to do this. What was the name of that song by Louis
Capaldi?
Yeah.
Which,
yeah.
Let's see.
He has to be on the playlist this week.
Do you want to do Someone You Love, or do you want to
Someone
do?
You Love. That's what I was playing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone You Love.
All right. Cool. We'll add it. Add it to the playlist.
Yeah. Great guy too.
In honor of that, I'll add his other song too because it's a banger. Before you go. So we'll keep Louis on the playlist for this week because he earned it.
He did
by being such a cool ass dude.
He was definitely a cool ass dude. Dope.
Yeah. So that being said, make sure you guys check out that playlist. It's on Spotify. You can check like the link in our bio, and the playlist is directly there, so you guys can actually subscribe to it. Check it out. If you guys are still catching the dates on the East Coast with the No Bragging Rights boys, we do have the resources cards for you guys to check out. Once again, within 30 miles of every venue that they are playing, we'll have mental health resources, food banks, postpartum services, mental health resources, things like that. Just so you guys know that you guys aren't alone in this, And make sure you guys check that out. Check out the boys. They had like a sick little last minute show that came up because Blue Ridge got rained out, basically stormed out. And they put together this sick show like last minute that had like a ton of bands on it that sold out, I think in less than a half hour or something. So that was cool. So yeah, they'll check those dates out, and they'll be back in a couple weeks. So once again, thank you, sir, for being here, coming to hang out.
Appreciate you having me as always. I look forward to this. So
yeah, man,
it's all good.
It's all good. That being said, we love you guys. We'll see you guys soon.
Tune in next time.
Running back again.